Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen and a monthly report for July, as well as a roundup of what's been going up with the studios and updates over the last few weeks. With Alpha 3.0 right around the corner and it going to Evocati shortly, there is a lot of Alpha 3.0 focus this month. The Delta Patcher is planned to be released with Alpha 3.0, meaning much smaller patches and potentially lots of patches, contents, ships, gameplay, and all that sort of jazz coming to us faster. Concept sales. The Nox open canopy ground vehicle went on concept sale as well, and when we know a couple of other concept sales that will be going out at some point. The Sabre Raven they've talked about, as well as the 600i will be going on concept sale at some point. We know the 600i is ready for concept sale, but isn't going to be the next concept sale planned, so we'll have to wait and see exactly what that's going to be. There are some major events coming in the near future as well. Gamescom will be on Friday the 25th of August, starting at 9 PM CEST, if you want to watch that live on the Star Citizen Twitch or YouTube channel. Again, CitizenCon will be on Friday the 27th of October this year, and again you can watch them live. Around Gamescom as well, we're likely to get a concept sale and some other ship sales as well. Let's have a look at what the studios have been up to over the last few weeks. Let's take a look at CIG LA and see what they've been up to. The narrative team have been creating descriptions for all the components and items coming for Alpha 3.0, as well as looking at what props, items and set dressing they'd like to see as they move through individual areas. They've also been getting NPC voice lines ready, of which they've already recorded around 2,800 lines of generic NPC conversation. And with that amount of conversation and dialogue going on, they've created a universal persistent universe character tracking sheet to basically have this quick resource with reference for lines of file names, departments, audio, animation, facial capture, performance capture, who they're going to, what needs to be done, the overall status and priority of all of this different kind of not just animation work, not just NPC conversation work, but how it all connects together for NPC dialogue, mission givers, and more. For the cargo mechanic, they've been further developing cargo grids so that they provide a visual element to transporting commodities like minerals, scrap, food, whatever you'll be transporting in Alpha 3.0. So commodities will manifest as stacks of crates based on the commodity and the size of the crate, and exactly what you've bought within this ship's cargo hold. So this is going to limit or be limited at the very least by the amount of space that you have in your cargo. You can store vehicles, all those items in your cargo hold as well. It's not just items that you'll be buying through kiosks and that sort of stuff, but if you store vehicles or loose items in your cargo hold as well, it's going to limit the amount of space that you have for scavenged commodities or bought items. They have been assigning moons, stations and points of interest into their correct object containers for 3.0 as well. For instance, Grim Hex is now located inside the grid of the moon Yella, for the time being anyway, and they can now create, edit and save object containers while still in the level, saving huge amounts of export time. They have reworked the handling of vehicle internal damage states to significantly more easily set up for debugging and speed of their process of getting stuff working. Interior damage states will be changed based on cumulative health of the ship now as well, for a much more simple approach. It's a move away from flow graph to an integrated, simple approach. They have made the IFCS, or the Intelligent Flight Computer System, control system, much more efficient and streamlined, with an end to allow more players in a server together because of the amount of streamlining that's effectively allowed them to do. They've completed the quantum drive for item system 2.0 with better effects and reduced complexity, or at least that's the plan. So the drive cares about the travel point that it's going to. External doors as well on ships will now close during a quantum drive or quantum travel because it's safe. The Aurora rework has completed its final art check, and they've also established 14 skins for the ship. It seems that we're going to have a lot of pre-made skins possibly coming with 3.0 Alpha or just after. The Terrapin is finalising its grey box phase and then being handed over to tech design. It looks like the stats page on the RSI website will be updated both with design and data extremely soon, and it's going to have up-to-minute stats for all ships at any given time as well, so we will actually be able to have clear comparisons, and it's going to look a lot better The website revamp is so important to Star Citizen, especially for people that want to compare ships or people that are just interested in the game. Tech Art has been trying to improve game performance with content and code updates for 3.0. They use tools like Statoscope to analyze per frame data and then work out how they can improve the frame rates and that sort of jazz. Animations have made improvements to their processes, converting scenes from Maya are now dramatically quicker for them. The female transfer mesh has been created and the males updated. They are used for high quality, more accurate character deformation and skinning. They fixed some issues with vertexes on eyelids as well. Currently in production is another female character and the OMC undersuits. The team has also several other Levski specific characters in the works, the civilians and miners, which are currently being textured. There's lots of hairstyles that they're working on as well. We will see a select group of them for 3.0 alpha that we can customize our characters with. The modular armor system with item system 2.0 means that they are basically reworking the current armor sets for the new system, allowing for bits and pieces to be moved and swapped around from the old armor sets and the new armor sets, so you can have a much more bespoke and custom armor set. Rigged and implemented the male Marine BDU as well, which will make his appearance in several places during the Bridge of the Idris and stuff like that in Squadron 42. The male deck crew can now safely EVA outside ships as well. We also got to see quite impressive looking female light armor, which has been finishing up the implementation pass, as well as the female Explorer flight suit. For me, this is probably meaning that we are going to have fully customized female models for Alpha 3.0, which will be great, and they are looking pretty impressive as well. Let's take a look at what Foundry 42 Frankfurt are working on currently. They finished the main parts of Surface Outposts and then they've now pushed that over to the environments guys. White boxes for the modular hangars and garages have been completed and then they've been handed off to the arts team to explore them more visually. They are focusing on making sure that the levels are correctly functioning in regards to interaction and flow, so that you can vault over everything that you need to be able to jump over, do all the elevators work, do all the spawn consoles for ships work. Is the room system working? So they're getting the final details and making sure everything is perfect there. Levski will have hangars and garages that spawn ships and ground vehicles, so that's important there. They are now starting to move on to other Stanton landing zones such as Area 18, Lorville, Orson and New Babbage. They've been working on enabling seamless blending between Glim Atmosphere and the CubeMap based lighting systems. They've implemented an improved compression algorithm for the new pack file to allow for more efficient data streaming. This is all about the Delta Patcher as well, and it should be with us pretty soon. QA are in the process of testing aspects of that Delta Patcher currently. They further improved and streamlined their planet editor tools. They've worked on the Buddy AI system, where NPCs will basically intelligently follow around a designated leader on foot. There's been more progress on ship AI, getting it one step closer to being fully controlled via subsumption. They've been refining behaviours for reactions to enemies when they've seen or heard something. NPCs have more friendly fire ID work on them as well now, so they basically don't shoot friendlies, they can work out where to move to and that sort of stuff to avoid friendly fire. The VFX guys have continued working on effects for various planet surface types, including footsteps, weapon impacts, and tyre effects. The footsteps that they're being left are amazing looking. I really like that kind of depression there. And they've been experimenting with rigid body simulations and deformation animations. Lighting are bringing all the surface outposts to their final forms. They've also been creating a library of prefabs, combining existing props with lighting elements. The tech art guys have been continuing to work on creating mannequin animations. They've implemented game entity for the new Kesar Custodian SMG energy weapon. They've been improving their internal Play Blast tool, which will help streamline their processes. They've been adding new weapon dynamics and secondary motions to their weapons and items. So it's like the little physics simulations and little extra details that help the game's fidelity. Environments have made further improvements to ground materials on all of the moons for Alpha 3.0. They've been wrapping up work on landing pads for surface outposts as well. Delamar's surface is getting a final polish with its geometry, materials, and getting an effects pass. They've been putting the final touches to the customs area, garages, and elevators for the Levski landing zone too. Programming are finishing up the remaining weapon features
features for 3.0. They've completed the first iteration of the new doors and airlocks as well. Some new weapon systems code is being fleshed out as well at the moment. Cinematics are testing the first pass of the brand new holographic projection volume entity stuff. They've made great progress across multiple chapters of Squadron 42 as well. QA are testing various aspects of the Alpha 3.0 and subsumption tasks. System design have further expanded the library of usables for both the Persistent Universe and Squadron 42. There's been more improvements and work on the air traffic control systems. They've been working with the FPS companion buddy type system, including all orders and behaviours so that they get worked out correctly and there's a correct hierarchy to them. The character status system is being internally tested, getting its final tweaking and balancing. Finishing touches are being made to the conversation system. Weapons teams have completed the blockout for various grip and optic attachments for guns. They're getting more and more of these attachments in-game. They've been refactoring the old attachments to work with the new attachment rail system. They've completed the blockout for the Carlson Warner Demeco light laser machine gun. And for ships, they've completed the Preacher Armaments distortion weapon, size 4 to 6. They've been working on various size 1 to 3 weapons, including the Clausen Warner laser repeater, the neutron repeater, and the Apocalypse Arms ballistic scattergun. Let's check out what CIG Austin have been up to. They've updated the price fixer tool to ensure that all items and equipment are balanced for Alpha 3.0, and going on to the future, this price fixer tool is going to be very useful for the game's economy, working out exactly how much everything should be worth at any one time. They've optimized mission rewards, insurance prices, and respawn timers, as well as set up shops and their inventories with their latest tech and upgrades. They've been adding NPCs into the main hub areas of the game and landing zones, starting with Grimhex and then moving on to more. The mission giver Miles Eckhart has been receiving a lot of additions and polish to finish him off for 3.0, including integrating subsumption with him, as well as testing linked extraneous objects connected to other usables, that animations then blend between them and conversation animations. The ability to find Eckhart-tagged missions, determine their availability, and interact with the player's mission logs. They've also been working on LODs or LODs or levels of detail for and damage states for the Cutlass Black, as well as the final tweaks to the cockpit and rotating the cells. They've got the APOA or Xi'an Nox from concepting to flyable, and it will now receive some tweaking and polish for Alpha 3.0. Server engineering have been integrating and testing Diffusion and its features. There was work on NPC usables for counters, including working on the shopkeepers and bartenders, and they'll be quite animated around when they're moving and talking to you and trying to follow you around and stuff in the future. And they had a quick pickup mocap shoot in the office to capture some more transition elements. They have completed their usables for Barstools, and they've been finishing off the carry system animations for the standard size boxes, so you can now pick up a standard size box and run around with it. The standard for cockpit experience is being finished up as well. They're improving the interactions with manned turrets, so we will have a better turret experience in the future. They are adding more hardware and increasing the network capacity, as well as completing out the last. They just got a new server-side expansion, and there's more services coming online, all in preparation for Alpha 3.0's rollout. QA have been testing both Squadron 42 and Alpha 3.0, focusing on stability and performance, and hammering out issues with weapons, moons, missions, the Mobiglass apps, and the interface there as well. They are preparing for Alpha 3.0 to be rolled out in general, and the new player experience that comes with that. They're going to also be adding more Evocati to the Evocati's ranks, so prepare for emails for people that are relatively active on the issue council. Let's take a look at what the UK studios have been up to this month. They've had a massive update. They've been finishing off the features for Alpha 3.0, polishing it and testing it a lot, improving the cockpit experience to make sitting in your ship feel more dynamic, and they've included refactors to redouts, blackouts, breathing, G-forces, as well as new animation for character statuses while you're in your cockpit. Close combat and takedowns with knives, as well as being unarmed, are being tested in-game to ensure that they are satisfying and cool-looking. They've converted almost the entire system to the new active status system as well, with a cleaner, more efficient and reliable interface between the server and client for the status system. They are progressing with the new Delta Patcher, integrating it into their wider toolset there at the UK as well now. The new Mobiglass look and use of the render to texture and holograms have made the Mobiglass look really
pretty cool. This is going to be used for comm calls and mission briefings as well, that kind of tech, but also for the UI stuff, live rendering of calls from other players in-game, so that you can probably see other characters actually rendered and chatting to you in-game eventually. Lots of work being done on the mobiGlas and apps that they're going to be using for it as well. They've been improving the look and feel of the star map to get its kind of best kind of look for 3.0, as well as the mission manager app, getting that functional, and all the other apps as well. They've been updating the exposure control system to help convey brightness of objects and sources of light in space without oversaturating or blinding or being overly bright to the player, and it takes into account some things in the peripheral view as well. They have been adding new effects with the GPU particle system, including turbulence and anti-aliasing and cool spark effects. They've also been working on the Ammon and Reese laser cannons, size 1-6, as well as the Klaus and Werner laser repeaters, size 1-6 as well. They've also created a FPS Gemini heavy machine gun as well. The Environments guys have been creating some pretty exciting prototypes for procedural cities. This feature was massively underplayed in the update. Procedural cities could potentially allow for physicalized large-scale city planets and possibly even massive, partly explorable urban areas. And for me, it's almost as cool as the planet tech itself. I'm very much hoping that we get to see something soon. I hope they crack it in the same way that they did with the planet tech. They have continued to work on making space look great and support the lore and narrative in an area. They have a new space dust shader as well, but they're able to add large volumes of space to the standard system for Alpha 3.0's release. Yellow's asteroid field has also been improved using this tech too. All the major outpost archetypes have been finished, as well as the branding and flavour for dressing and various different corporation kind of looks, the different corporations that are going to have outposts there. And we'll be able to have focuses like pods that they've got ready for them for mining, hydroponics, habitation, storage. And we're also going to see variations of those outposts with emergency shelters, abandoned ones, gang run ones as well, inhabited looking ones. I'm not sure if we're going to be getting the AI in yet, as I believe that was a blocker at some point, but we'll have to wait and see if there are NPCs on the ground. All doors and airlocks are now switched to the Doors 2.0 system, which are readily available to interact with power, different rooms, pressure, oxygen, and the new room system. And they have improved the displays for the doors using the render-to-texture tech as well. Outpost clusters and additional exterior features have been finalised, including pathways, landing pads, power modules, weather stations, water collectors, and lighting. Outposts have had a clear corporate branding and style as well made for the individual corporations that will be kind of available to see in the verse as well. You should be able to see that branding and style very easily. Outposts are blending into the planets and moons and biomes as well. That's looking great, the way they blend. Truck stops have had an exterior pre-polish and optimization completed for them. They're now working on the interior of the main hub, corridors, side shops, a new store called Platinum Bay with a distinctive building set. There's also an observation room that faces landing pads. It's all pretty cool for the sets that they're doing for truck stops. Admin offices have also been created and distributed around the stand-in system, allowing players to drop off packages for missions as well. Grimhex has 2 new shops and a ship parts trader and an old electronics store. They have started to implement the new MFDs, or multifunction displays, giving different ways to manage and view your ship systems and info. Audio have worked on weapons like the railgun, derelict ships, and the javelin, as well as their dynamic music system, breathing, and even environmental improvements to locations. The jump mechanics have received some attention as well, allowing players more freedom when they're actually running and jumping on their characters, so that they can do cool things and also get hurt from long jumps, and the different varying levels of gravity and stuff, how that's going to affect them. They've continued working on various cinematic scenes and animations, as well as working on the 3.0 mission givers. Facial animations are still being produced for the Persistent Universe, future patches, as well as Squadron 42, and they've done some quick mocap and audio pickup lines for 3.0 as well. The ship team have been working on Derelicts, the Caterpillar, Constellation, Freelancer, and that sort of jazz are going to be ready to be used in missions for Derelicts and for general exploration and looting. They have also implemented the tools allowing them to place Derelicts and set pieces very easily onto planets. The Hull C has had its finalised geometry done on its folding section anyway, and the front section has had a lighting pass, the rear section has been blocked out, and is getting a modelling pass as well. So hopefully the Hull C ready relatively soon. The Eclipse is getting built out too. They're currently focusing on the cockpit, but it's had some exterior work done to it as well. The Reclaimer is almost complete. They finished a load of the rooms off, and there's only 3 left to go through the final art phase, and it's looking very, very, very attractive. The Reclaimer has become my favourite ship, and it looks, just superb. Let's have a Spectrum and Turbulent update as well. Spectrum 0.3.6a has been moved to the PTU for testing. 0.3.6 will also feature drafts so that you can kind of save your post progress and then post it later. They've added support for inline images and styling links, also custom roles, giving permissions for orgs and their roles there. Mini profiles are getting updated to show post count and replies as well as karma. There's been more work going into voice over IP and the Spectrum overlay, which will appear in future updates. Turbulence panic crash reporting system has now been integrated to work with game crash reports for better kind of crash analysis. They've been working on the improved website experience as well, and they are adding more tiers for the referral program between 1 and 10 recruits. So people will receive these retroactively as well, and they'll announce them in due course. The schedule report. Tomorrow I will get up the latest news about the schedule report and the week's news as well. Anything else that's important I've missed out here. Every month we try and give away a ship for July. It's a Nox Q. All you need to do is be subscribed to my YouTube channel and comment on any of my Star Citizen videos during the month. If you've got any questions about Alpha 3.0 or questions directly for me or about Star Citizen's development in general, a special thank you to my Patreons who allow me to create the amount of content I do. You guys are absolutely amazing. If you're interested in becoming one of them, please go to the links below and click on that and go, yes, Patreon. As well as everything else that we've discussed will also be in the links below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help me, and I will see you in the verse.